doing the nonsense thing. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Oops All Tangents, episode 3, I think.
That sounds right.
How's it going, everybody? You can't respond. This is a podcast.
We don't even have comments enabled yet, so like they really can never respond.
I can tell Louie to do that right now if we want.
Do it. I've been asking for like 4 weeks.
Oh yeah. So do people actually listen to these?
We have no way of
Supposedly.
knowing.
I've had some
What?
people say
Really?
that they do.
We don't have views or comments or anything
That's
on
not
it.
true.
Like
We've been posting them to the Patreon page directly so far, and so people have been watching it on there.
Okay. I really meant like the podcast in general, but also Oops All Tangents, I guess.
Louis has started putting
yeah.
them on the website that's on, so they're only visible to people donating at the right tier.
Cool. That's neat.
And then they're also on Spotify. So I have like a few new metrics on that one.
Cool.
We're on Spotify.
We are. All of our podcasts are on Spotify now, actually.
Damn,
even
we're
the,
fancy.
even the old ones.
No.
Yeah, they're all there.
Oh, jeez.
Don't listen
Even-
to those. They don't exist.
Agreed.
yo, so today wild thing happened. We went to a new church today.
Yeah.
And we were like getting introduced to people, and everyone was really nice. But then this, the person that was like showing us around, he was like, "So what do you guys do?" And literally, like Kyle opened his mouth, and this guy goes, "Oh my god, I'm such a big fan!" Like
Really?
from behind Kyle's shoulder, and it was so
perfect
surreal.
timing.
Kyle and I both like whip around. We're like, "What?" And this guy he reached out, he like did like the whole double handshake thing. He was like,
that's
"I've been
weird.
watching you guys for so long."
That's a stronger reaction than we normally get to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was really, really. I mean, it was church, and they were young. They're very excitable
Sure.
people. But
It's like he was watching and just waiting for the right moment to do it.
That's nice. That's nice.
It was crazy. The timing was crazy, and then we had to turn around and be like, "So I guess we're YouTubers."
Right. It's like
That's so cool.
Yeah.
What a good introduction.
But then, other weird thing that happened later, and Kyle and I have been sitting on this one. He goes. We were just kind of like talking about the channel, and he was like, "You know what? But I really hate the guy who plays Enrico." And we were like,
what?
No. His words.
But
His
no,
words
yeah, what
were.
was his
He
word?
was
How to
leaving.
say
And
it?
he was like, "By the way, me and my friends all hate the guy that plays Enrico Dandolo." And I was
What?
like,
Is that
"Wait, what?" And then he
possible?
was gone. And I was like, "I don't know.
Yeah.
Was that like a haha denouncing Venice kind of joke, or just told really weird, or?"
I mean, actually, there's no way it's not weird. But the weirdest thing is that there's a person who exists who doesn't like Matlock.
"Well,
Yeah, that's weird.
Right, which
thought-
I assume means that that's not what he was saying.
So coming from like my perspective of like hilariously hating things, it could have been like a we're
We
we're
love
the
to hate.
few that
Yeah.
because everybody loves Matlock, and maybe so
Right.
it's just kind of one of those like we all hate the guy that plays Enrico or
Sure.
I don't know, maybe there was like it didn't seem aggressive or anything. It was just like, but everybody likes Matlock.
so strange.
There's no
Yeah.
reason to not like Matlock, especially in Civ.
So this is just a fun for behind the scenes people kind of tantalizing thing. So the the sketches that we've been talking about for the future, the zombie one, I've been kind of thinking about it some.
Yeah.
And so I've come to some I have some plot developments I want to like talk about and things. One thing is I have a working title for it,
What's that?
which is when the mall ninja shit hits the fan.
What does this mean?
That's pretty good.
I don't think it's a
Have
good.
you heard of mall ninjas?
No.
What is the
Okay, so this is it starts out with a subreddit r mall ninja shit. It's like if you ever seen anything that is splashed with toxic bright green paint and is used for zombie survival, mall ninja shit. Or like knives that you hold between your fingers like Wolverine that you buy from like a gift world in the mall.
It's stuff that you buy from Gift World for the most
Right.
part.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Shurikens. It's like this is the glaive from Blade. Or like this is I have a real batarang. Or
Okay.
my katana is double sided. Or
Got it. I like it.
yeah. And so like I was thinking that for this sketch, it would be the best way to do it is like a deep dive on prepper / mall ninja culture.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
just
You
kinda
can have
like-
John
like,
be a main character.
Yes, also yes. But it was like my thought is like we have Matlock as the main character and he's on radio with Caesar on the other side, and then there's like a survival group of like I was thinking like Caesar and John and Joey,
Okay.
and they each like kind of like they get captured and done away with as it progresses. I have some ideas. It's gonna be fun.
I like it. That would be pretty good. I announced recently with the latest video that we're doing like all the videos at once.
We're on back to production. Yeah, that's been
Yeah, that we're like
Nice.
mass producing 12 of them all at once.
cool.
So that'll be coming up pretty soon.
How has the new video been received?
Very well, actually. Way
Good,
better. I
good.
thought it would get like 10, 15,000 views or something. It's like almost at 80,000
I
already.
thought it was great.
It was
Thank
really
you.
good, right?
I liked
didn't
it,
watch
and
it,
I was
so-
about to show it to my class because we had some days this week where we didn't have much to do, and he like totally roasted us so bad. Like he said something like, "Why is he making that if he's not successful?" or something like that. That's just not true. And I was like, "Oh."
I feel like I
But-
addressed that in the video.
Yeah, you do. I was like, well, he talks about that or whatever. But then I was like, you know what? This kid's an asshole. I'm not going to show the class. Sorry if you're listening, kid. You're okay. I don't hate you. I don't think
you're
you're
a
listening
Patreon.
given your reaction to that video.
That's fair. Yeah.
But, yeah,
no,
no,
that's
I
a really
wasn't-
good video.
I wasn't sure how well it was going to be accepted, but it did pretty good. It did well enough that Tolarian Community College responded to
Yes,
us
I'm
again.
so excited.
Who?
The Magic the Gathering
Oh, yeah,
YouTube channel.
That's so awesome. Ian showed me that shout out. I was like, whoa.
Have you actually watched any of his videos at all?
I still haven't,
No,
actually.
it's
I
I
feel
mean,
bad.
when you so I think the professor is sort of like, it's like what would happen if you mixed me and Ethan?
Okay.
He's like the
Cool.
biggest ham in the world, but he has my hair. I mean, but it's also kind of Ethan's hair, so
Yeah.
he.
Oh, that's fair.
Does it curl at the end, straight at the top?
It's yeah, it's kind of like it flows and does like a flip. It's
Cool.
That's super awesome. Yeah, I'm glad people received that video.
Me too.
It was a great video.
tried
I
doing
laughed
that
I
as
so
really
well.
liked
much.
it. Yeah,
That
it was
I
great.
actually I have just like saw there was 10 minutes long. I went later, and then later never.
Ian hates 10-minute videos. If I'm watching a video and he doesn't like the content, he'll be like, "Is this 10 minutes long?"
I would say like it's like, let me guess, this is 10 minutes and 3 seconds, right? And it always
Especially if it's
is.
someone being sad, he'll be
Well, it's
like,
like, okay,
pissed
so like
about
here's
it.
the deal. If it's a video that's 10 minutes and 4 seconds long, and it starts off with like 4 minutes of them saying that they're sad, but they won't tell me why they're sad yet.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
I saw some comments actually specifically. Actually, Light messaged me and was just specifically saying like, I like that you immediately jump straight into the thing you're talking about and don't
Right.
try to pad it out just to make it 10 minutes long.
That's I didn't think you would do that. It wasn't like, but it was like
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's so many people like who are like just don't even get around to addressing the insane trauma they're
Right.
talking about until minute 6.5.
It
It's like
doesn't really make me that mad.
It's another one of those
It's the difference between
correct
having-
YouTube things to do. That
right.
you
Yeah.
need to-
I mean,
yeah.
I just understand. It's just an economic thing, and it makes sense.
Well, here's the deal. I think, like, specifically why I hate this when it's people being sad is if you're giving an important message to your YouTubers, don't try and profit off of it.
I think it's
It's
fine
kinda-
to
it's
profit
kinda
off
like-
your own sorrow. I
Like,
think
don't
it's fine. You're
monetize
having
apologies.
sorrow.
Don't like if you've done
Okay,
something
don't
wrong.
monetize your apology.
Apologies, yeah, for
Apology
sure.
is different than personal sorrow.
But it's things
I
like
felt like poor toucan guy had a 10-minute
What?
video. Sorry, toucan guy who owned a toucan that died, and it was like the way he made money because that toucan had like 10 million view videos. Like when his toucan died, he made a 10-minute video about the toucan being dead, and I was like, you know what? That is fine.
sure, but
Yeah,
when
I
it's-
mean,
when-
it doesn't bother me. Like it's
when
just a thing. It's
when
fine.
it's Tati saying that she's gonna leave YouTube, and then by the way didn't, and then she doesn't really get around to addressing it until like minute 4. It's like if you're leaving YouTube, you shouldn't be worried about the YouTube revenue that you're clearly angling for.
Wow,
Bro,
way to
bro.
call out Tati
Yeah,
publicly.
Tati is
How
the angel
dare
of the
you?
group.
Actually,
like,
how
community.
dare
to be fair,
you?
actually, this comes across poorly because Tati's the only makeup guru I like.
Yeah, she's really the only one like that doesn't have ridiculous dumb drama. Like,
when I was originally thinking about like what kind of video to do for like because I wanted to kind of just test out a different format a little bit, and I was sort of originally inspired by like the commentary channels that I watch, but I wasn't sure if that was going to work because, for example, I don't know anything about what any of you guys just said right there. I don't know any of those
You should
people.
you should watch
I don't know.
you should watch
Like,
the trending page, Kyle.
I don't know what's, but see, I don't want to. I get all my
That's like-
information
that's a-
through
that's
the
a
other
flaw.
commentary
That's a flaw.
people.
he actually likes watching the people who watch those
I do.
things.
It's kinda
but
like
to
how-
actually watch those things, like that's a job even I don't want. Like genuinely, like I
It's
don't
a
want
job, right? You got to sit there and dig through just all
Okay,
that
Kyle,
crap
I'll do
people
it
upload
for
to
I'll do it
YouTube.
for you during
Actually-
my lunch at work, and then I'll send you the gems.
I
I like
kinda
watching trash.
I really like
I do
the
too, but
the what's his name? The Danny Gonzalez method of so you all sent me weird Instagram videos. That's
not
Yeah.
bad. Yeah,
Yeah,
having
you
been able to
should
work
you
4 years
should
isn't bad.
send a Twitter.
Well, so what I
Out. That
decided
doesn't mean tweet
on
out.
her suggestion actually was what I'll probably end up doing if I do end up trying like some different variations on
Yeah.
stuff to upload is something more like what I did for 10K week way back when, where I did like review like a whole breakdown on like the effects for this particular video or like
Film school.
writing. So yeah, like film school stuff. That actually sounds pretty fun.
Yeah, actually, I want to watch those myself. So
Yeah.
I think that'd
also,
be
if
enjoyable.
we're doing
Mix it
like
in
if we're
there.
gonna start uploading some like random commentary style videos, can we finally get pros with con going?
I was thinking about that too.
great
Actually.
idea.
Yes, can we review Shannara Chronicles? Because we love Shannara Chronicles.
oh,
we
you
love
guys
you,
should.
Shannara Chronicles.
That's
really,
the
yeah.
that's
Like-
the Netflix show that you showed me. The
Yeah,
other
I
day?
got like
Yeah.
really excited because we just drove past a place the other day that said Eritrean Ethiopian cuisine. Please don't call me out if I pronounced it wrong, or do call me out so I can learn. But anyways,
Eritrea
is the main character of Shannara
and
Chronicles.
an African country.
Yeah, it's a country.
It's a country.
Are you sure it's a country?
I was.
Okay,
So-
I'm gonna Google it.
Wait, I have one more church story because
Okay.
it just reminded me of that. So I went to the bathroom, so this isn't technically my story, but it's Kyle's story. And when I got back, he was like, "So weird thing, the pastor just lied about what was it that he lied about? It was like the
What did he say?
it was about he was like so the pastor just lied about people going outside, and I was like,
What?
So the pastor said something like he was one of those guys that I described him as Trumpy later, in that he just kind of like makes stuff up on the
That's not
spot, and by the time you want to call him out on it, he's already way past it. So like,
The
you
Gish
can't-
Gallop.
The what?
The Gish Gallop? Are you familiar?
I have not heard of this. This is probably a better description than
Gish,
Trumpy.
The Gish Gallop is, it's not, so the Gish Gallop is a debate technique where you throw out so much bullshit in 3 minutes that your opponent would have to spend 45 minutes refuting it all.
Okay, yeah, it did kind of feel like
it was
that.
so the point that he was making. Well, you do.
He
it
said
here.
that people from other countries come over here and are like, where is everybody? And they're like I think his thing was like, they come to our neighborhoods, they're like, where is everybody? Because we're all inside, and they're always outside and stuff. And I was like, okay, one, no. Two, he was talking about Europe, and I was like, I've been to Europe. It's a first world place. They are inside as much as we are.
Right.
They have as many introverts as we do.
No.
Three, if I'm somehow wrong, we're in San Antonio. There are 75% of the year where if we go outside, we will die.
Right.
What was
Like,
the-
we are only here because AC makes it livable.
What was the theological point to this?
I don't remember.
So
It's
here's
probably that you
a,
need to connect with your neighbors or something.
here's
It
a-
wasn't.
No?
It wasn't. No, that wouldn't match whatever else he was
I
talking
think
about.
the actual description you're looking for is boomery.
Boomery?
Like baby boomer style, like
Oh.
phones are bad.
No, it is.
There was a little bit of that in
It
there.
is a point that I've heard made
Right.
before.
Children don't play outside anymore. They're too busy on their Google iPads and
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the sermon was about, doing things before you find out you're going to hell.
cool.
So it was about
What?
Yeah, it was about
What?
making sure that you're doing the right things before we get there and the screen says the parable of the 10 virgins, which is apparently a story about how like there's 10 virgins at a wedding, 5 of them didn't bring the proper things, and so they like scramble last minute to try and get prepared for the wedding because they have to like light a lantern, but they don't have oil, so they
Right.
have to go get and it all falls apart in this big
They
metaphor for people who aren't prepared for like the what's it called when God comes and the world falls apart?
The second coming.
Rapture.
The rapture, or whatever.
It was basically just an hour and a half of saying, like, seize the day. That was it. That was the message.
Yeah.
It wasn't
for-
seize the day. Seize the day is a very different message. It was definitely like
YOLO.
get your shit together before Christ comes down and sends you literally straight to hell.
Actually,
Right.
that is what seize the day means. People misinterpret it a lot.
Oh.
Seize the day means get your stuff done now so that when things go wrong later, you're ready to go.
I mean,
it's-
like the
Okay,
poem,
yeah.
the
No,
poem
the-
references
the-
death in like
That's
the
true.
line
Well,
right after.
so technically, the saying means harvest the day. It's
Bite, it's like the juice is out of the day.
same thing.
Oh.
It's
It's what you do with an apple.
visceral.
carpe is to pluck an apple, right? And so it means to
Okay.
it means to like enjoy the fruits that are there for you to take.
Right.
Oh, I see. Okay.
It's like live each day to the fullest because
we're all gonna die.
tomorrow is not guaranteed.
I don't know how this involves going outside, but that was the
Yeah.
topic.
No,
So
yeah.
anyway, I actually really, really liked the church. I really, really liked the people there. It was just not what I would consider like a strong sermon, nor one very good for like newcomers.
Really, the only
Right,
thing you need to know
that's a
is
very
that
forbidding sermon, and I
Actually-
dislike that parable. It makes me feel called out.
this guy also had an entire section of the sermon where he talked about the dangers of being too open-minded. So
Oh, frick, I hate it.
It's an
Stop.
issue. Actually, I've done this a lot. Like, I'll go to a new church. This happened a lot when I was at Baylor. I would just like walk into a random church, and it's amazing how many times the sermon just happened to be about tithing.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
always unfortunate.
People have tithing sermons like several times a year.
I know, it's like I would like there's a month where every single Sunday I went to a different church in the area, and every single Sunday, like it must have just been tithing season. Everyone was about
it's
tithing.
probably after taxes or after everyone
Yeah,
gets their tax returns.
Maybe
So-
it makes sense.
Two things. One, a phrase that he said that I literally laughed out was, "You can be so open-minded that your brain falls out."
Heard
That
that
was
one.
great. He said that, and then he paused, so that like waiting for people to laugh, and then people were kind of like,
Yeah, this
Oh
guy,
my god.
This guy was at least
That's so
55, right?
cringy.
Probably.
That kills me.
No, he was 30. He was 33.
He's just an
He
old
was-
man,
he was-
30-year-old.
he was
He
somewhere
was a
between 30 and 50,
33-year-old,
yeah.
kind of large black man.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
But he wasn't actually like, I don't think he was a pastor there. I think he was just kind of like maybe like a deacon
interim,
or
yeah,
something.
something
Yeah, I
that
don't know.
happens.
But every single time Kyle and I go to a church service, it is about why you should never be unequally yoked. So like, I get it. I get the tithing thing. Like when you go to church and they're like, so we need money, and you're like, can I find a church that isn't constantly begging me for money? Every time we go to church, someone stands up there and is like, don't be unequally yoked. Hell for both of you. And I'm like,
I just want to point out that I heard the L in your yolk there.
yoked. Yeah, yoked. Yoked.
As opposed to yoke.
No, you have to be unequally yoked. Like,
Yoked.
yeah.
It was honestly, it wasn't like a
I
really
keep
conservative church. We were actually like, I walked in and I was like, wow, this is like a really diverse crowd. Like everything is, it was just this one person.
I mean, you just get some of
Wait,
that.
there was one more horrific thing. One more.
This is the most eventful church.
Honestly, I
was.
really love this church. Like, I really enjoyed being there. There were just a few things. There were just a few things, and this white guy, he goes up on stage with his wife, who is beautiful.
Oh, Jesus.
And he goes, "Hi everybody,
point.
this is my BMW." And I was like, really and then so
Is it like a Be My Wife or something? Like I
So
just,
much
before I could like finish my thought of confusion, he goes, for anyone who doesn't know what that means beautiful Mexican wife.
No.
And for all those people that don't have
No.
Mexican wife, it's like beautiful. My
I don't remember. He gave some other option. It was
Beautiful maiden woman.
It was just.
Yeah.
He introduced himself when he walked up. I think they let people come up and speak sometimes in
appears.
different ways, and they shouldn't maybe do that all the time.
Well, it was just, and I
hate
think
that.
like I can understand how like, oh, we're all friends here, and like that guy, he just says those things, but like. I turned to Kyle after like 5 minutes. I was like, that's definitely like clear objectification, right? Like he's comparing her to a car, like a BMW.
Right.
Like it's the correlation between women and cars is so strong sometimes. Like, don't call your wife a BMW.
But it's a fancy, expensive car.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't
Rachel,
everybody
you're my fancy, expensive woman who's definitely has a personality.
You're like
but
you're like my small British car. I don't know that.
Thanks.
Yeah, what is that? Like a
With
like
the
a,
headlights broken?
Yeah, or whatever.
Yeah,
That's
like a
Italian.
Fiat.
No, you're
Yeah.
the Fiat. You're the Fiat.
Okay, yeah, I'll be the
Yeah,
Fiat.
you're
You're like
Italian.
the car you had before, the gray one. That was you as like a person.
Yeah, accent.
Yeah, oh, like, yeah.
Hyundai
There's
accent.
a Hyundai accent actually.
What is the British cars? They're not.
I should know
they're
this.
not
I watch
Audis,
so much
they're-
Top Gear.
Max has this car, and I just
Volvo?
no.
That's Swedish.
It's
A Vauxhall.
no.
Vauxhall. Yep.
Vauxhall's right. I'm right.
Okay, you probably are right, but it's not what I'm thinking of.
The Ford Mondeo, he said in the worst Jeremy Clarkson accent.
What is this car?
Are you thinking-
Saab?
Oh,
Saab.
Saab. Yeah.
Yeah, you're a
I think-
Saab.
Okay.
Wow.
Saabs are small,
I don't know what
luxurious.
that means, but I'll be offended.
No. It's the opposite actually. They're small and they're incredibly luxuriant and they're incredibly expensive to fix because they are so high maintenance and it's so difficult to get parts.
Right.
Your life falls apart when they break.
Okay. Sorry, I'm not offended anymore, I guess.
What car are you? What car am I? Nissan.
Nissan, no.
Nissan.
You're my
Can I
Corvette,
be a fancy
baby.
Nissan? Can I be one of those
You're-
like
are you an
Ollie
Infiniti?
has? I want to be not an Infinity.
A Maxima.
No, I don't want to be a Maxima either. I want to be that Nissan that just has numbers.
What's the Chinese car?
This is truly oops all
I don't want to be the Chinese car.
Chinese cars, all the other cars, it's just they're
Isn't
just
that-
copied.
Yeah, okay, fair.
Can I be a Mini Cooper?
Isn't that Toyota? Isn't Toyota Chinese?
Japanese?
Japanese.
Everything's Japanese.
That's
There
right,
is
that's
there
right,
are
it is
there's like
Japanese.
I
actually
recognize
a
this
Chinese
from
knockoff car
a
brand.
racist episode of Full House where Uncle Jesse goes to Japan
be one.
and he's trying to sing a song in Japanese and he forgets the lyrics and just starts going Suzuki, Toyota. I'm like, wow.
Oh my god.
This is off color.
No. Oh yeah. Ooh. That show literally didn't age well because then they all aged up and then they remade the show and it was like no one actually wanted it.
Well,
No,
a lot of
have you
people
actually-
did, but those people are dumb.
They
If you
were
like it, you're
wrong.
stupid.
Have you ever actually watched
Sorry.
it? It's so much worse than it could be. Like
Full
they
House?
keep in
Oh, the
bad
new one.
takes.
Yeah.
What, really?
They keep in bad takes and the editor doesn't like the actor will say a line poorly and then like there'll be a small gap where he should have just cut a second earlier.
Yeah.
And it's like and then you can tell the line's over and they just wait a second and before they switch to the next angle.
It kind of
That's
feels
weird.
surreal. Like watching the show kind of reminds me of like they just told everyone to be on set, but like don't try that hard. Not in like an acting way, just in like a. I mean, it's
Like in a
basically
human
like
way.
a step away. Yeah, it's basically like a step away from the actors finishing their line and just like looking like kind of around like at the camera and the
So
audience
weird.
and everything.
Like,
it's really weird.
Our early sketches are better.
Wow.
It's a
Legitimately.
I haven't actually seen the show.
It's very hard to watch.
But you've sold me on it. Now I want to watch it.
give it a
Would
shot.
it be a good thing to edit like the Wii Shop music into or whatever?
Yes,
Yeah,
you can do that.
definitely. I do think that our early videos are easier to watch. Did we go over? Did we go over?
No,
No, we're still at 5
we're
minutes.
only halfway through.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait, no, we're not. We're sorry. I keep getting the clock hands mixed up still.
But yeah, so that was the last thing I wanted to complain about. Literally everything else was great. We walked in, and so we walked in, and the woman was like, "Hi, it's really great to meet you." Blah blah blah. And we're like, "Oh yeah, we're new, first time." And she was like, "Okay." And we were like, "Yeah, newly, young and married and stuff." She was like, "Oh, do you have kids?" And we were like, "Oh no." And she was like, "No." We were like, "No." And she was like, "Oh. Okay, let me bring you to someone else."
Was she a realtor?
She was the
I don't even
breeder
like this place for
person.
you. Oh, do tell.
She was very nice, and she took us to one person who looked at us and was like, "Oh, you belong with these people." Who took us to another person who was like, "Oh, you belong with these people." Eventually, we found our way to the young married crowd, I guess. But but it was just like she was devastated. I've never met this woman in my life, and she was like, "Oh, you have kids?" And we were like, "Oh no, not yet." And she was like, "Oh." Like, what do I do with these people now?
Unrelated and maybe too personal. I don't know. But I just mentioned to my mom the other day, like you had trouble with food poisoning, and she goes, "Oh,
yeah.
Is she pregnant?"
Oh, my mom did the same thing.
Yeah,
My mom got so excited. I told it, like, the first, do you remember?
Yeah.
Of course you remember. I told my mom that I was, like, vomiting and having, like, stomach problems, and she was like, "Did you take a pregnancy test?" And I was like, "No." And she was like, "Well, do it." And then I did it, and it was wrong, and we knew it was going to be wrong. I only did it for her, because she was like, she was like, "You got to take one. You could be. These all fit. They're perfect." It's literally not the case.
I won't lie. I'd be really excited if y'all got pregnant. Like I
would be really excited
happy
if y'all got pregnant.
See, it's the opposite feeling. I would be excited, but I would be excited in a way like, oh God, like, okay, how do we handle it? And also like love. I have really mixed feelings about children, even though I want them. I don't think I can support them.
I don't have super mixed
Anyways.
feelings about children.
Do you
They're
want
not very
any?
big, Kyle.
No, not specifically.
No.
That's too bad. I want to see you with a child.
I think y'all should have children.
maybe
You're
never-
you're an interesting people.
Well,
and I support it.
The thing
I
I've
ship
always
it.
like, I know how much I can change within a year. So like 5 years from now, God knows, I might completely change my mind, and probably will at the event. Like I'm 100% certain that I will at some point change my mind, but I'm also 100% certain that right now I have zero interest in having
yeah, well, okay,
kids.
that's fair. Like I also like I don't want a child at the moment for sure.
I'm weird about it. I'm 99% sure that I will want a child within the next 5 years, but I don't know where that leaves me headspace now, because I don't we can't fit one here. Well, I guess we could if we
You have
if we
several
had
extra
to.
rooms.
John used to live with you. He's basically a child.
That's true. Like we could definitely move things around, I guess. But like in my mind, it's like there's no way for some. But then I also like knowing future you is gonna want something and not wanting it now is like a weird mental
Yeah.
space.
Right.
So like I
Me
just
every
kinda,
time I'm trying to, I'm like staying awake at night, going, "Tomorrow you'll want to sleep."
They're definitely like
weird 'cause
different. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, no, I was gonna say you say that also now about like thinking that we'll want them later on, but then also every time you watch a TV show and the main characters have kids, you go, "Well, this isn't interesting anymore," and then you turn it off.
Wow.
Okay, so
I think that's very
that's
fair.
fair. Television shows where they start introducing kids after the kids had not been previously established
But it's a different show. The only time this has ever worked is Dragon Ball Z.
Okay.
Gohan's a great character.
Also, I really do not think I can get pregnant. Like, I just don't think I can, like, with my health anxiety, I just do not think I could handle it, which I have no problem with. And then for whatever reason, once a week, without me even looking for it, I find out some new horrendous thing about how terrible, like, pregnancy is. I don't remember the last one, but all I remember is going, no. Oh, it was about your pelvic floor.
Yeah,
Oh, like
that's
dying,
great.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
here's the thing. So I have this kind of thing. It's kind of a fallacy, but I use it all the time anyway. Of like hearing about weird health concerns about food and things, or like learning about how unclean a restaurant is or something, and it goes, "Well, it hasn't killed me yet," right? And so pregnancy. The more I hear about how terrible pregnancy is, the more I look around and went, but still. We have 7 billion people, so somebody must think it's worth it.
Yeah, but God, I hear about so many complications. Like, you're right. People definitely don't die for some unheard of reason. I think they
Modern medicine.
I think they actually
Yeah.
give better care to women that are pregnant, and I don't necessarily have a problem with it. But like, I think they naturally want to put way more effort into pregnant women, and I think that's totally fine. But like, every single pregnant woman outside of my mom, for some reason, I know, has told me like some horrific horror story, passing out from like high blood pressure, or maybe it's low blood pressure, or maybe they just had like a migraine, and or
There's
who
no
knows,
blood.
like
It's all gone.
literally everything. There's
It's
no
but
blood.
no, I think it's
Baby sucked it all out. Oh wait, that's a movie.
There are
whole
some people who
storyline.
get like addicted to getting pregnant though. Like some people really like it.
They can do it.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I just mean people have different experiences. Somebody
That's
told me
true.
their migraines went away when they were pregnant and came back
Yeah.
afterward. I
I've
was
So
like,
heard
what
some
the
of those
heck?
things too. Like,
To be fair, I just want to I think your fear of pregnancy in this way is very valid. I think it's always sounded horrifying.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I found out that was horrifying. That a lot of times doctors will cut that flap of skin between your vajayjay and your butthole to let the baby come out easier, and then
yeah.
they sew it up wrong, and then you have like a messed up body forever, and it's horrible.
Hey, it looks like we're out of
Don't
time.
do
Thank
that.
you all for joining us today.
actually, sometimes they don't cut it. Sometimes it just tears.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, they were like, it's gonna tear anyway. Snip.
Yeah.
Like I wanted that.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of women like brag about that not happening to them, which means it happens to the majority. So like, no, not doing it. Someone else could do it. I'll probably just adopt. Well, we'll probably have to adopt unless you want to get pregnant.
Nah,
Well,
I don't know. You're the mad scientist. Like,
I think I'm good.
Okay, well,
we should get another tiny shivering dog.
this seems unfair because you don't have health anxiety, so you could do it.
Do this
Right,
like
but
the male
I
seahorse
can't,
thing.
though.
Yeah, the male seahorse thing. Just like, what do they do? Vomit them? Do they just like vomit the
I don't
babies
actually
out
know how it
when-
works. I just know that the men get.
I don't know how seahorses do it. I know the men get pregnant and then
Yeah.
that's it.
All right, well, I think that's actually the end of this Oops All Tangents. Thanks for joining
I think
us.
that
in
was a
there.
good one.
Sorry for the last few minutes. I know that's.
Don't apologize
sorry.
for women's bodies, Kyle.
No, I think this is important information.
Thanks for your money, and we'll see you next week.